Let's welcome in our morning guest. Siddharth Sadani now joins us. Sharmila Joshi will be with us very soon. K. Subramaniam is here with me in our studios, and Manas Jaiswal is also joining us from Lucknow. Good morning, gentlemen. Siddharth, let's start with you. What are your calls?
Well, yesterday IndusInd Bank has come out with the results. Looking at the results, it is above estimates in most of the parameters, and in fact, company has posted a great 29% jump in the profits. Along with that, the advances numbers were also strong of 25%. They are looking for maintaining the NIMs going forward, and this is what management commentary is all about. And looking at some of the distribution products which they are looking out, which is again retail-centric products, and the bank is completely focused towards retail. I think that is one of the opportunity which company and management is looking at. Along with that, higher financing of two-wheelers, because till now, before demonetization, we've seen that two-wheelers are more of a cash deal. So now financing of two-wheelers will be also there because of remonetization is not that up to the mark what has happened till now. So IndusInd Bank, looking at the MSME loan segment and strong loan growth coming up, we believe that it was our top 10 ideas of 2017. IndusInd Bank can be looked at with a medium to long-term perspective with a target of 1743. The second idea what we like is from the cement pack. That is Ramco Cements. If you look at the southern channel checks, there is a strong volume growth which is seen in southern part of our country, and because of that, Ramco Cements looks very attractive. The last quarter results were also very good in terms of volume growth was concerned. Dispatches were strong. Along with that, if you look at it, it was the highest in terms of EBITDA per ton of 1,500 rupees. So giving a 11 times valuation of FY19 earnings, implying $200 EV per ton. I think currently it is 156 EV per ton for FY17 expected. I think if you give 200 EV per ton, we like Ramco Cements, and it is a strong player in the southern part of our country with a target of 718.
Right. Just as we're talking about IndusInd Bank, we'll go to our other guest in terms of what are their picks. But IndusInd Bank, of course, had results yesterday. Results came during market hours, but the management commentary came in post-market hours. So 3:45 is when the press conference started, and then you had the con call at 5 p.m. Some of the key takeaways: see multiple opportunities of growth near the medium term, and this is after demonetization, the sort of opportunity that would open up. Credit cost in Q3 was lower at 57 basis points, in line with averages. Slippage ratio was stable at 1.4. These are details which did not come in when the results came out. This management had given in separately in their presentations. Results indicate strong market share gain for banks. Why do we say this? Is because 5% loan growth is what the industry average was, and they've done greater than 25%. Management believes that fee income growth rate should sustain. That was one of the big concerns. 22% is what they did in Q3, and the management believes that will sustain. Digital transaction mode is seeing very, very strong momentum. They intend to scale up their microfinance portfolio as well. So a strong management commentary also coming in, along with good results, which were just mentioned by Siddharth as well. In terms of brokerage calls, CLSA has increased its target price to 1,450 rupees a share from 1,400. Credit Suisse 1,400. Their earlier target price was 1,329. And IDFC and Kotak have broadly kept it same. So IDFC's new target price is 1,400. That's CLSA for you, 1,450. Credit Suisse is 1,400. Earlier target price 1,329. IDFC an increase of 65 rupees, 1,415 now for them. Kotak has increased their earnings estimates by 2%, but they're saying that at this point of time, it would not warrant an increase in the target price. So they've kept the target price same, but they also have a positive call on IndusInd Bank. Definitely a stock to watch out in the opening session today. Sharmila Joshi is also now joining us. Sharmila, I'll just come to you. Mr. Subramaniam, what are your calls?
Well, to begin with, buy on Adani Enterprises. Now, the entire Adani group has been looking pretty strong, and this one has been particularly been strong the last couple of months. So probably this could be bought for a possible target of 85, stop loss of 78. Second one is IOC, which has been hitting lifetime highs. It did hit just about 2-3 days back. Again, seems to be gathering momentum. Could be bought for a possible target of 370. Stop loss of 340. And the last one is Tata Communication. Seen some decent consolidation, but I think risk reward warrants buy in this area, in this counter, and possibly this could be bought for possible target of 645, stop loss of 620.
Right. Manas, what are your calls?
All are buy calls. First is Hindalco. See, most of the metal stocks are looking strong. Yesterday, we witnessed good buying interest in some of metal stocks, and Hindalco has broken its 50-day moving average. So, a possibility is high that we may see further recovery in Hindalco. It can test 171, so one can buy it with a stop loss of 162. Second is Kaveri Seeds, where a stock was facing some resistance near to its 200-day moving average. But yesterday it broke that its 200-day moving average, and oscillators are showing positive crossover. So we may see a sharp up move in Kaveri Seeds. It can test 440. So one can buy it with a stop loss of 416. And last one is a buy call on Apollo Tyres, where the stock was facing some resistance near to its 100-day moving average. But yesterday it broke its 100-day moving average with higher volumes. Oscillators are showing positive crossover. So we may see further up move in Apollo Tyres also. It can test 205. So one can buy it with a stop loss of 189.
Right. Sharmila, what are your top picks?
Yeah, I think that you can go with some of the stocks that I've recommended previously. I think going by that, Sun Pharma now looks at a price that you can buy at. Similarly, I think I'd recommended another stock in the pharma space, Shilpa Medicare. I think that's another stock that can be looked at. And then I think there's, some like a Tata Motor DVR. I've been recommending this for the longest time, and given the kind of numbers that we've seen for JLR across geographies, I think this becomes a good level to look at the stock at again. And another stock within the chemical space, I think I've always recommended Omkar Specialty. I will add SH Kelkar also to that list.
Okay, so we've got a number of ideas coming in from Sharmila. And we are seeing some of those stocks that will be in focus today. Of course, we've looking at kick-starting earnings season, which is, we've got IndusInd Bank's earnings, and later this week we'll get earnings from the IT heavyweights as well. Any view there, Sharmila? What are you expecting from TCS and Infosys?
I think in terms of valuations, they both look okay. But two things that we really need to watch for. One is obviously what kind of numbers they give this quarter. And I think more importantly, the commentary going ahead, because I think they would have gotten a better sense by now as to how the US as a geography is shaping up for them in the year ahead. So there has been already some degree of caution because of, the letter that the Infosys CEO wrote to his employees. But actually, very honestly, there was really nothing new in that. But it sort of highlighted the issues, not just they face because of the developments in the US, but as a sector as a whole, given the kind of headwinds they face. So I think that going forward, maybe not this quarter, but perhaps next quarter, the commentary from the management will sort of be even more important. In any case, I think this quarter is expected to be a soft quarter for most of the IT companies, given that you have more holidays. So that way the outlook is not great. It's just that the stocks have corrected to such levels that perhaps if there is a bit of a pop or a bit of, the management sounds very confident, then maybe you could see a run on any of the majors really for that matter, because, the correction has been pretty severe in most, whether you take a TCS, Infosys, you name it, and the stocks have corrected.
TCS will be declaring numbers tomorrow. Infosys will be declaring numbers day after. Just as Sharmila was saying, let's just look at what the expectations are. So dollar revenue growth for Infosys is expected to decline by 2%. How has this number been arrived? It's arrived by the guidance that the company has given, which indicates that second half would be weak. And they have the RC, the Royal Bank of Scotland, RBS deal, which they had actually called off after Brexit. So that will have an immediate impact in the Q3 numbers. For TCS, it's an absolutely flat quarter, which is expected. So 0.2% growth. And the key thing that everybody would be eyeing out for is the 2017 budgets. Remember, most of their clients are based out of US and Europe. They follow a calendar year from Jan to December. So what sort of clarity have they got regarding their client budgets, client spends in 2017? You'll probably get the first indication of that coming in this particular quarter commentary. Tomorrow, TCS post-market hours, and on Friday, Infosys pre-market hours. So Friday is going to be a tech day. It's going to be a technology day where Infosys and TCS will react to its numbers. Among the mid-cap space, even Cyient Limited would be declaring the numbers, but that goes on its own trajectory and not likely with what the IT sector is doing.
Of course, in other earnings to watch, we have another banking counter coming out with its earnings. So, South Indian Bank is going to come out with its earnings, and we're expecting interest income to move up by 9% to around 443 crore rupees, and profit after tax to move up about 12%. Now, other factors to keep in watch is that we're expecting interest margins to be flat around 2.9%. Non-interest income is seen at 150 crore rupees, and pre-tax profit is expected around 160 crore rupees. So we've got earnings coming in from IndusInd Bank, and South Indian Bank will be the one to watch next. There are a few other stocks that we will be watching for news developments. One is Piramal Enterprises. Piramal Finance has invested 425 crore rupees in Prateek Group's project. So Piramal will be a stock to watch. IL&FS Engineering. It is planning to raise 1800 crore rupees via Infra Investment Trust. We've got Shiva Cement. The cement space is one that we'll be watching out for. News coming in is that the promoters are selling their stake in the company. The share purchase agreement has been executed with JSW Steel, and the agreement is for sale of shares held by promoters of the company. So, amongst the cement stocks, we expecting some action. Then WPI, SKS Capital and Research has bought 5 lakh shares at 341 rupees a share. That's a stock to watch. Then ABP. Yesterday we heard about a big big order coming their way, and brokerage Kotak has revised the EPS estimate for ABP by 2 to 4% higher for next year. We have Endurance Tech as well. Its plant in Germany commences operations from January 10th. 2017. That will be another stock to watch. So those are a few stocks that we will be watching out for on news developments.
Right, a lot of stocks to watch out for and a lot of picks coming in from all our 4 guests in the morning. We're just awaiting markets to open anytime soon. In the next 15 seconds, we should have the opening bell. IndusInd Bank, of course, will be in focus. That's a post-results reaction, and some of the other pharma and auto companies. They have been in focus. They continue to be. Anisha just told us about the list of stocks that one has to keep an eye out for. Opening bell coming in on your screen. These are the first trades, 41 points higher, 8,330. So higher than what SGX Nifty was indicating, and I think straight away testing the second resistance. In fact, slightly above that. IndusInd Bank 1190, 2.5% higher. I think it's the top gainer as well. 81,000 shares traded for IndusInd Bank. That's clearly some volumes in the first 10 seconds of the trading session. 2.7% higher. Good commentary coming in. Decent results. Markets did not see a major reaction yesterday. Maybe was awaiting for the management commentary, but it's up a full 30 rupees today. Axis Bank 2 rupees higher. Reliance Industries is up close to 3 rupees. Bharti Airtel 322, about 3 rupees higher. Asian Paints is up around 2 rupees. Sun Pharma 3 rupees on the higher side, 641. HDFC Bank is up about 6 rupees or so. Ambuja Cement is up close to 2 rupees. Some other stocks, Piramal Enterprise, 1,000 shares traded, 13 to 14 rupees higher, 1,748 for Piramal Enterprises, 0.78% higher for this name. It was, I think, one of the top gainers yesterday as well, and today also. It's not a very frequently traded counter, that's why you're not seeing frequent changes on the price of Piramal Enterprise, 0.6% higher for this name. ABB, of course, was stocks in focus yesterday. I think it went up some 15 to 20% at a point of time after the order. Right now, it's down about 10 rupees, 1161, 1162. Endurance is up 5%. Not sure whether the news flow is positive. It's a new company. We'll try and get in touch with the management about the new facility and what essentially it means. But management had highlighted during the IPO that they have a lot of plans coming up going ahead. IndusInd Bank 3% higher now, very good volumes. BHEL 129, 1 rupee higher. Coal India is up close to about 1.3. Idea Cellular 1% higher, was among the gainers yesterday as well. Adani Ports, there is a positive note from Goldman, 296, looking in strong. Hindalco was the top gainer yesterday as well. There's a report from Motilal Oswal that came in yesterday morning, which said that the company would be free cash flow generating. Not that it is new. They have highlighted this earlier, that if starting FY17 end and 18, this would be a positive free cash flow company, but it has done well after that. Tata Motors has released its JLR wholesale numbers for the entire month. It includes all the region. It's a growth of 4%. It's in line with averages, and the street had already got a cue from what happened with the retail numbers. Bharti Airtel, CLSA has put a buy call 1% higher, 323, about 4 rupees higher For Bharti Airtel, Yes Bank is up 1.3, and maybe it's got to do with IndusInd Bank. The sort of numbers that it has delivered probably just shows that even a company like Yes Bank could do well. TCS numbers tomorrow, post-market hours, 7 rupees decline ahead of that. Let's look at Infosys as well. Infosys would also be on the flattish side. Remember, results are a very, very big day for these companies. They tend to make or break their trend during such days. So 55,000 shares traded for Infosys, 973. Anisha, any volume buzzers that you can pick up?
We are seeing some action in the sugar stocks. So Ugar Sugar is up 5%. Some of the auto ancillary names are also doing well. We got Sona Koyo Steering Systems up 4%. We have some of the other companies like Escorts up 2.5%. JK Tires up 2%. Adani Power had seen a superlative move, and that continues to be higher. Electro Steels also seeing good action, up 5% or so. Then we have Bharat Financial Inclusion, which is up 1.5%. Suzlon and Vedanta also up 1% or so. On the losing end, JP Associates is down 2.5%, and JSW Energy is down 2%. But really, we're not seeing very, very big moves coming in today. One stock to watch will be Shiva Cement. We are seeing volumes are high on this counter. It opened up 4%. We've heard that the promoters have sold out, and JSW Cement has taken over. And that is something to watch. That stock is up, Shiva Cement up 4%. As for the Nifty 200, we are seeing IndusInd Bank, Hindalco, MRF and Bharat Electronics doing well. At this point of time, we are not seeing too many losers. It's looking quite strong with the Nifty comfortably above 8300 level, doing pretty well. Manas, have you had a look of the chart for Hindustan Petroleum Corporation, HPCL? We saw the OMCs again start to rally. Do you think HPCL is good for more, or do you think it will again stutter at these resistances and retreat?
See, after almost 60 rupees correction 2 weeks back, HPCL took support near to 100-day moving average, and since then it is making higher tops and higher bottoms. Yesterday it broke the resistance of 470 also. So I think this trend will continue. Yes, stock has some resistance near to 485. But looking at the pattern, I think the stock has potential to break that resistance. Possibility is high that stock can test 497. So here definitely one can take a long call, keep the stop loss below 464.
Okay. Sharmila, amongst the oil marketing companies, do you have a positive view at all amongst IOC, BPCL, HPCL, anything that you veer towards? Sharmila wanted to understand whether you like any of the oil marketing companies between BPCL, HPCL, IOC, any picks?
Very honestly, I'm not very positive on the oil marketing space as a whole for two reasons. One is, of course, this whole, the fact that I'm expecting crude prices to sort of trend a little higher. And so far, we've seen that oil marketing companies have been able to pass on the cost of increased crude prices. But now we are, close to the highest sort of levels that we've ever paid for both petrol and diesel, if you look at the last 4 or 5 years sort of a picture. So I think, going forward, you're on slightly, you don't know how much more of a cost they'll be able to really pass on to consumers, and how much will they, meaning, that's now, that situation is now going to enter into a sort of a fluid zone. And secondly, this whole merchant discounting, that MDR issue that has come up, and if they have to bear the cost of that, then their margins are again, you need to see what it does to their margins. So I think going forward for oil marketing companies, I think you could have sort of peaked as far as margins are concerned, which is why I would not be too positive, given the fact that we've already seen a huge run up on this space. It's not a sell, but I think at the moment they need to we need to see what is happening with all these issues before we take a further positive call.
Right. Sharmila, what will be your call on Hindalco or Tata Steel? Both the stocks are at the day's high, and they've really not corrected even if the market has fallen.
Yes, I think this has been the surprising space of last year, where most of the stocks I think have given us 30, 40, even 50% sort of returns in the last 7 or 8 months, and a lot of it has to do with global reasons. So this was a sector which was depressed for the longest time. I think it's gone through a phase of 5 or 6 years when we've really seen nothing happen, and now because prices are looking better internationally, we've seen some amount of movement. But I think now again as far as that is concerned, while I don't expect the stocks to correct too much, given the fact that we've seen such a huge run up, from now on I think it will be more sort of result based, and if you really have, as for instance you were talking about the positive sort of outlook for Hindalco going forward, if that really plays out, then yes, I think there could be an upside. But for a lot of the stocks, I think you still need to be careful, because at the end of the day, at some level, NPA levels, etc., are the highest. There is a bit of a protectionism that has come in this sector, which is why they've benefited. So I think you need to stay with the leaders. So I think definitely as far as a JSW Steel or a Tata Steel or a Hindalco goes, going forward also the outlook is positive. But for the rest, I'd perhaps wait for it to really actually show in numbers before you bought at this price.
Subra, what is your call on the metals pack? You think that they'll continue to do well in 2017 as well, looking at the data on derivatives?
Pankaj, my sense is that probably the returns that we got in 2016 might not be repeated in 2017. But one fact remains is that most of the charts still look extremely strong, particularly like of a Tata Steel. Despite we don't have such positive news flow, but the chart is looking pretty decent, and an upward breakout. I mean, it's quoting at 440, so it's a decent chart. But in terms of preference, I think we would go with something like a JSW Steel and also Hindustan Zinc. These have been outperformers even when the markets were sluggish. I mean, I'm talking about pre-2016. They were good outperformers. So my sense is that
they were not falling.
They were not falling, and you had buying coming at every decline. So these two would be the preferred bets, and I think one would continue to prefer this in the coming year as well.
Right. Manas, if we look at the top 200 names, can you just give your view on IndusInd Bank? It's almost at 1,200 rupees now. After this, what will be your call, or after today's 3% move?
Okay, I think 4 or 5 weeks back, stock made a double bottom, and I think 3-4 days back, stock broke its 100-day moving average. So there we had a target of around 1210, which I think it is trading near to that target. So it is better to book profit if you are a short-term trader. But if you can invest money for say around 3 to 4 months time, definitely you can hold it. Stock has a lot of support near to 1125 now. So keep the stop loss below 1125. The possibility is high that after some correction, the stock can again test 1250. So the longer term or medium term perspective, you can hold it. But for short term or immediate term, you can book profit if you're long for last 3-4 trading sessions.
Right. Just we were talking about the metal pack, so you could just tell us the levels for Tata Steel and JSW as well.
See, Tata Steel is definitely looking strong on the charts. It has given a clear breakout above 440 today. So even at current levels, you can take a long call, keep the stop loss below 430. Now the next target comes near to 475. So I'm quite positive on Tata Steel. About JSW Steel, yes, if you're long, then definitely you can hold it. Keep the stop loss below 174 now. Even if you want to make fresh long, then definitely you can take a fresh long, because I think stock has given a clear breakout on the charts, and now the next target comes to 197. So here definitely one can take a long call. Keep the stop loss below 179.
Right. Siddharth, how would you approach the metal packs? For a fundamental analyst, it's very difficult to justify such valuations.
Actually, metals pack in 2016, we have seen a great performance. In fact, they are the best performing sector of as a whole. But if you look at metals pack, I think they can perform further in this year, with a caveat that if MIP in the second week of February maybe is again reviewed, if the MIP by the government is not continued further, then we may see some kind of a breaks coming up for the metal pack entirely. Otherwise, in terms of, if you look at the global place, China being the biggest consumer and manufacturer, what we have seen, they have curtailed and reached the target of whatever the production shut they were supposed to do. So on that basis, we are seeing global steam in terms of metal is concerned. On top of it, we know that US presidential election was on the back of strong infrastructure spend across US. So on that basis also metal was getting some kind of a boost. So all in all, if MIP domestic protection is continued, I think metal will see a rally going forward. Although we don't have a coverage on the same, so we would not able to recommend or rate any of the stock in this space.
Right. Sharmila, in terms of IndusInd numbers, do you believe expectations from Yes Bank, HDFC Bank would also raise substantially?
Yes, it would. I think that's what it would suggest, because I think not just Yes Bank and HDFC Bank. I think overall, if you compare with the public sector banks, then better results are expected from this group in any case. But I think you must sort of emphasize that IndusInd Bank has been pretty consistent in the kind of track record they have as far as numbers were concerned. And I think yesterday again all eyes were on the loan growth, and that's really come in at a very satisfactory level. That said, I think HDFC Bank and Yes Bank are again two candidates who always had sort of consistent results. So there is no reason to think that that this quarter would be bad for them. So I think, as you said, these three names definitely suggest themselves for a decent set of numbers this quarter.
Manas, have you had a look at the chart of ABB? Yesterday, we saw a big candle on that chart, and volumes were also much higher than normal. But if you look at the long-term trend of this chart, it's headed only down. Does yesterday's candle change anything?
See, stock was making lower tops and lower bottoms from the level of 1440. But in last, I think, 3 to 4 weeks time, stock has made a strong base near to 1220. And yesterday we have seen some reversal sign because stock has broken its 200-day moving average with great volume. So now I think you may see more recovery in ABB. Stock can test 1230 or maybe 1240. So here on any correction near to 1125 or 1100, you can take a long call and keep the stop loss below 1050.
All right. Subrat, do you have any view on HDFC, Housing Finance and Development, the big home lender? The Nifty has moved up very well over the last 3 sessions, but HDFC has just not budged after that that big candle that came and all the negatives. Once we got the Prime Minister's announcement on New Year's Eve, that stock really hasn't moved. It's a heavyweight. What are you watching as far as open interest addition and the charts is concerned on HDFC?
See, it's clearly getting support at levels of around 1200 because we did see some pretty savage selling coming about in all these housing finance companies, and HDFC also saw some pretty good correction. But I would guess that probably the worst is over, and at current levels, maybe not performing, but definitely one could accumulate, and this could probably head up to levels of maybe around 1300. So sooner than later, I think you'll have some buying coming about, and you'll have the stock outperforming.
Right. Manas, the Nifty is now above 83.20. The most recent high was 83.06. What are the levels that you're watching out for the Nifty from here on?
See, Nifty was facing some resistance near to its 100-day moving average for last 3-4 trading sessions. But now it has cleared that resistance. I think now Nifty can test 50% decimal level of entire fall from 8900 to 7900, and it can test 8430 soon. So here, even at current levels, one can take a long call and keep the stop loss below 8275.
Right. Sharmila, JSW Energy signed a small PPA and it was up around 7-8%. Do you think that at 63 rupees there is value into this stock, especially considering the group and how they have been aggressive on any asset which has been priced attractively to go ahead and acquire it?
I mean, yes and no, because the stock has sort of appreciated, as you said, from that 57, 58 level that it had gone to 63. So definitely, I think given their track record and the kind of numbers, they should slowly get back to that 70 plus kind of level. But whether it will happen in a hurry, I think is the question mark, because this is a market where you've seen a lot of stocks bounce back from their lows, whether they sort of justify it or not in terms of news flow and or earnings. So I think going forward now it will be a game of whether you're able to really deliver as far as earnings is concerned. So I think from that perspective, JSW's Energy definitely has it, but we'll have to wait and see the numbers from here on to expect further appreciation.
Right. As we are speaking, JSW Steel is up around 6. That's JSW Steel, not Energy. And JSPL, SAIL, Tata Steel, Hindalco are among the top 200 gainers. So all the metal stocks are doing very well. JSW Steel is up 6%, 189. SAIL, JSPL, Tata Steel, Hindalco are the top gainers. This is followed by IndusInd Bank, which of course is reacting to the results-based news that it had. Mr. Subramaniam, any view on Bharat Electronics? It's a name which has done well in the last few days. I think in the last 3 days, it's up greater than 10%.
Well, Pankaj, this has been outperformer even when the markets were down from November. In fact, it's hitting now its lifetime highs. I know today also we have a news flow that they are meeting for a stock split. So I think clearly a stock and whenever defense comes into play, you have this stock seeing some very good buying coming about. So I think clearly even at current levels, I think it merits investment and one could see some decent appreciation in the coming year.
But again, this is an investment call.
This is an investment call. I would not take a trading bet on this, but clearly the trend seems to be up.
Right. Siddharth, going into results, which sectors do you think would be interesting? Because, IndusInd has been flat, as you said. In fact, it's been better than estimates with negligible impact of demonetization. So apart from banks, which sectors would be interesting?
See, I would like to see results in the autos piece because if you look at the demonetization impact, people are talking about that discretionary spends will be definitely impacted. So I would like to see autos piece along with that FMCG, maybe durables as well as staples, both. Because FMCG also we would like to see how the November and December month has paired for them. Maybe November month, maybe two worst month for them. But I think December month there would be a little bit of a respite. So the majorly the results which I am looking for in terms of sectors are concerned is autos, banks and FMCG.
Right, and all these sectors, even if they were to, see some sort of negative leverage or some sort of negative operating leverage coming in because of lower volumes, markets would give it another chance. So people would wait for the Q4 numbers and see whether there is any recovery or not.
See, Pankaj, Q3 and Q4 will not be coming good for these sectors is more or less discounted in the markets. If the results stock specific comes below the expectations, whatever lower expectations has been done by the consensus, then I think the stocks will react negatively. Apart from that, I don't think Q3 and Q4 is not discounted. So it is more or less discounted. One thing which is to watch out for, if in case whatever the expectations are, if slight better results come in for these companies in the set of sectors, I think that would be a positive surprise and I think market will take it very positively and the stocks will be also reacting northwards in terms of stock prices are concerned.
Sharmila, we've seen the consumer pack or the durable pack, getting impacted after demonetization. Do you think Q3 numbers market would give another chance even if they were much lower than estimates?
I think market is already giving a chance to the entire market because, if you hear any commentary, you hear that Q3 is a wash. And there's a big question mark on even what Q4 is going to be. But when you compare that to where the Nifty is at this point in time, it clearly is at the, if you're talking of that kind of an earnings growth for FY16 and then you take a look at where the Nifty level is, then you're already at the higher end of the band. So I think, all the bad news is already discounted. I really don't see any excitement of buying at Nifty level 8300, but obviously, there is a lot of money out there and we are seeing that DIIs are continuously buying at this level. So I think a lot of the bad news is already discounted.
Right. Siddharth, have you had a look at DLF? That stock has recovered pretty well. It's trading at around 125 rupees. Do you think there's a good bet as an investment in this real estate major if somebody has a long-term view, or is there too much risk attached?
See, one thing, we don't have a coverage on DLF, but having said that, what we believe is DLF, the kind of one thing positive which is coming out from DLF is they are coming since a year. They're coming out of the non-core business assets and everything and focusing on the core business altogether. That is something very positive. But having said that, looking at the entire sector and the inventory level in the northern part of the country, especially companies like DLF, so and so forth, high inventories, low executions, poor executions, I think that is creating a lot of issue. In case if someone wants to bet on the real estate pack, then I think one should look at the companies which are strong balance sheets, strong cash flows, better execution levels. Although we don't have a coverage, but some of the good companies' historical results which we have seen is somewhat like Oberoi or somewhat like Godrej. I think these all companies have been better balance sheets, better managed. Although I would like to say slowdown in the real estate pack will be there further 2 quarters.
All right. So there is a slowdown for the real estate space that can last for another 2 quarters. Thank you, gentlemen, and Sharmila, for speaking with us at NDTV Profit. As you go, please leave us with your disclosures. Siddharth, let's start with you. Your disclosures.
See, I personally don't hold any of the stock which we have discussed, but my organization and my client must be holding. Thank you.
Sharmila, your disclosures.
Yes, I do own some of the stocks that we've discussed today.
Manas, your disclosures.
No personal holding in these stocks, but we have recommended these stocks to our clients.
And Subra, your disclosures.
Yeah, some stocks I do have in my portfolio, and we would have also recommended the same to our clients.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking with us at NDTV Profit.